On November 29, 1864, the Colorado governor told his soldiers to kill the Cheyenne and Arapaho for camping in Colorado. The Cheyenne and Arapaho had been promised their safety by the U.S. government. However, the U.S. government denied them their right to life and land. It was the responsibility of the Colorado governor to honor the protection agreement. However, he didn't stay true to his word. This event has largely been forgotten in history and was asked to be remembered. They are remembered by being taught in schools, books, and there is a historic site about the tragic event. The Sand Creek Massacre led to innocent people who had every reason to believe their safety was guaranteed and getting killed, and even some hiding so that they don't get killed. This event affected the relationship between the white settlers and the Arapaho and Cheyenne, and led to the Indian War and ended up lasting 25 years. The significance of this is some historic events throughout Colorado, books, and some people getting taught about it as well, so that the Sand Creek Massacre is remembered and not to be forgotten for all the people that died.
On the morning of November 29, 1864, United States troops led by Colonel Chivington attacked the Arapaho and the Cheyenne who had been promised safety and to keep their land. The camp was mostly elderly people, women, and children. Colonel Chivington ordered the troops to raid the indigenous people. In the end, an estimated 200 innocent people were killed by the U.S. Army. In the following days, the soldiers stole their land and belongings.
Although the Cheyenne and Arapaho had been promised their safety, the U.S. Army denied them from their right to the land and living. Black Kettle has a large American flag up on a long lodgepole as the signal to the troops that the camp was friendly. This quote shows that the native tribes were trying to make peace even with the government on making peace because it was not right to attack them on their own land. But in the 18,000s, European settlers came to the land and took it from the indigenous people. This was a difficult time for them as they lost their homes and way of life. The settlers took the land even though a treaty had been signed that said the land belonged to the indigenous people. Furthermore, the Cheyenne and Arapaho were violated with their right of land, and these quotes show that the native people were lied to by the government. Sadly, the native trusted the government and got their right to life and land taken away.
However, it was the responsibility of the Colorado government to maintain their promise to not attack the indigenous people. They did not maintain their responsibilities because they attacked and killed the indigenous people that were living on the land before the colonists got there. The United States government investigated the massacre and found that Colonel Chivington was responsible. They said he was a coward and that he betrayed the trust of the government. He was disgraced and left the army. This quote shows that Colonel Chivington did not follow the government's orders. In fact, he was supposed to protect the indigenous people. By not following the government, he endangered many indigenous people with his reckless actions and ideas. The Sand Creek Massacre was a tragic event that showed the terrible consequences of prejudice and violence. It is important to remember this event and learn from the mistakes of the past. We should strive to live in a world where everyone is treated with respect and dignity. This quote shows that the white settlers were in the wrong for going after the indigenous and taking what belonged to them. Instead, they should have kept their agreement with the Arapaho and the Cheyenne to keep peace with each other.
Initially, people and the government of Denver celebrated the attack as a heroic victory. However, as more information became available, people began to realize what the people and the government of Denver did was cruel and shouldn't be okay. The way people viewed the Sand Creek Massacre began to change. When word spread to other Indian communities, it was agreed that the whites must be met by force. The instrumental in the relation were Sioux troops under the leadership of Red Cloud. The United States agreed to the 1868 Treaty of Fort Laramie, which brought the temporary end to hostilities. Source 8. This exemplifies that after other Indian communities found out what actually happened during the Sand Creek Massacre, they knew it wasn't right for the people and the government to kill so many Cheyenne and Arapaho people. Suddenly, a lot of other people's perspectives began to change once they found out the truth of what had actually happened. Today, people and the government are learning to fix their mistakes in honor of the tragic event that happened in 1864. The immediate impact of the event was the tons of losses during the Sand Creek Massacre. The social impact of the Sand Creek Massacre was that all the natives slash other tribes had lost lots of family. The Sand Creek Massacre was a tragic event that showed the terrible consequences of prejudice and violence. It is important to remember this event and learn from the mistakes of the past. We should strive to live in a world where everyone is treated with respect and dignity. This evidence shows that the people in Colorado are now learning from mistakes, make the Sand Creek Massacre known, and trying to fight for the tragic event. The people that now know about the tragic event are making sure that the event doesn't just get forgotten and so that it can be known for all the people that died during it.
The Sand Creek Massacre connects to 2025 in that many tragic events can happen any day, and we all just have to be aware of it. It is relevant today knowing people are going to try to restore the land and remember the victims from the massacre. Lastly, if Americans had never expanded westward, then there would have been more peace between the tribes involved and others in general.